In a shocking turn that has left the media buzzing, Dana Bash, the esteemed political correspondent and anchor, found herself at a crossroads as news of her divorce broke. This unexpected upheaval raises tantalizing questions about the hidden struggles behind her public persona and the moments that led to this dramatic life shift. Join us as we peel back the layers of this story, revealing how Bash is not only navigating this tumultuous chapter, but also redefining her path forward in both her career and personal life. Early life and career of Dana Bash. Dana Bash was born Dana Ruth Schwartz on June 15, 1971 in New York City to a prominent Jewish family. Her mother, Frances Schwartz, is a writer and teacher of Jewish studies, while her father, Stuart Schwartz, was an ABC News senior producer, most notably at Good Morning America. Resilience seems to run in Bash's history. Her maternal grandmother, Terry Vidor Weinman, was one Hungarian Jew who made it to the U.S. in World War II. But unfortunately, her family perished in Auschwitz. This heritage has shaped much of Bash's identity and values. Growing up in various cities, including Washington, D.C. and New Jersey, Bash attended Pascack Hills High School in Montvale, before earning a cum laude degree in political communications from George Washington University. While in college, she worked as an intern for major networks like NBC and CBS, finding her niche in journalism. Following her graduation in 1993, Bash began her career at CNN as an assistant in the library and almost immediately began her rise through the ranks. Soon she was editor and producer for weekend programs like Late Edition and Evans and Novak, which included U.S. Senate coverage that would be one of her staples. She has covered numerous historic events, such as the 2000 U.S. presidential primaries and Hurricane Katrina with great acumen. Her work covering the 2008 presidential campaign made her a Peabody Award winner, showing she could work her way through some very tricky political pages. She also has been given several Everett McKinley Dirksen Awards for her reports on Congress, proving her skill in this domain. Bash was named CNN's chief political correspondent in 2015 and moderated some of the most pivotal Republican primary debates during the 2016 election cycle. Among others, she co-moderated the 2019 Democratic primary debate, during which Kamala Harris created quite a stir with her viral clash against Joe Biden. As of 2021, Bash co-hosts State of the Union on Sundays with Jake Tapper, debating and critically discussing various politically sensitive issues and topics. She has received widespread accolades for her work in journalism. In 2014, Elle magazine included her in the Women in Washington Power list. Her ability to handle high-profile politicians, combined with her involvement in many landmark events, has earned Bash a reputation within American media. Not even Dana Bash has been able to evade criticism despite her high successes. In September 2024, during her book event for America's Deadliest Election, The Cautionary Tale of the Most Violent Election in American History. At Politics and Prose in Washington, D.C., anti-Israel protesters caused a ruckus. Protesters expressed strong criticisms of her reporting, suggesting it may have contributed to the ongoing conflict in the region. One shouted, "You belong behind bars," demanding Bash confront her alleged role in the suffering of those in Gaza. Against the aggressive confrontation, Bash kept her cool and did not engage directly with the protesters. To one, she said, "Take off your mask," illustrating larger social tensions over protest and anonymity. The incident received heavy media attention, and CNN came forward in defense of Bash as a respected journalist who has covered politics with fairness for more than 30 years. Bash has, in the past, been vocal against hostile protests creating an environment of hostility on college campuses for Jewish students, and has stated that any protest against the policies of the government of Israel should be practiced without any intimidation or physical threat to human life. This incident reflects the continuing tensions around the Israel-Palestine conflict and the challenges faced by journalists in navigating these sensitive topics. In the same month, Bash and Jake Tapper faced heavy criticism over their framing of a story that involved comments by Representative Rashida Tlaib about Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel. The controversy started when Tlaib lashed out at Nessel for prosecuting pro-Palestinian protesting students at the University of Michigan, who she thought had charges guided by anti-Palestinian bias. Tlaib said, "It seems that the Attorney General decided if the issue was Palestine, she was going to treat it differently." Bash and Tapper interpreted Tlaib's remarks as implying that Nessel's Jewish identity affected her ability to perform her duties fairly, leading them to accuse Tlaib of anti-Semitism. However, Tlaib did not mention Nessel's Jewish background in her comments, which focused on perceived biases against Palestinian issues. Some observers raised concerns about the journalistic integrity of the coverage. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel responded by condemning Tlaib's statements as anti-Semitic, asserting they unfairly suggested her religious identity influenced her professional actions. Nessel tweeted, "Just as Rashida should not use my religion to imply I cannot perform my job fairly as Attorney General. It's anti-Semitic and wrong." This statement further fueled the controversy, as many argued that Tlaib's comments were mischaracterized. The fallout included a public statement from a group of House Democrats who condemned any implication that prosecutorial decisions were based on religious identity. They did not explicitly name Tlaib, but reiterated the accusations against her. Amidst this environment, journalist Steve Nievling, who initially interviewed Tlaib, publicly refuted the allegations against her, stating she never suggested Nessel acted out of bias due to her Jewish faith. Nievling's attempts to correct the narrative were largely ignored by mainstream media outlets, including CNN, which continued to amplify the mischaracterization of Tlaib's comments. Despite these clarifications, Bash and Tapper continued to face criticism for their handling of the situation. Tapper later admitted he misspoke during his coverage, while Bash provided a clarification on her show, but maintained that Nessel believed Tlaib's comments were anti-Semitic. The incident involving Dana Bash exemplifies a broader trend at CNN, where the network has faced accusations of bias regarding Palestinian issues, criticized for lacking nuance and fairness in its coverage. This has raised internal concerns among staff about how to report on contentious political matters without alienating viewers on either side of the Israel-Palestine debate. Under CEO Chris Licht's leadership, CNN attempted to reposition itself as a more centrist outlet after facing backlash for its coverage during the Trump administration. However, this shift has resulted in confusion among audiences and dissatisfaction among journalists, many of whom feel that their integrity is compromised by pressure to conform to a specific narrative. Amid this tumultuous environment, Bash's role as a prominent political correspondent comes with significant scrutiny, which can take a toll on her mental health. She has openly discussed the emotional challenges of high-stakes political reporting, where backlash from social media and public figures can lead to stress and anxiety, complicating her efforts to balance personal convictions with professional responsibilities. Yet her ability to navigate these controversies is crucial for her career longevity. Even during high-profile criticisms, such as those following her interview with Kamala Harris, Bash has maintained professionalism and composure, contrasting with the more sensational approaches of some colleagues and helping her cultivate a reputation for fairness. Dana Bash's relationship with Jeremy Bash. Bash's personal life also intersects significantly with her professional journey, particularly her marriage to Jeremy Bash, which began in 1998 as they both navigated their careers in the political and media landscapes. Jeremy was born on August 15, 1971, in Washington, D.C., into a Jewish family oriented around community service and public engagement. He attended Georgetown University, where he earned a degree in government and had active involvement in student government and political organizations that would eventually shape his future in public service. Jeremy then attended Harvard for his J.D., graduating in 1998, where he served as an editor of the Harvard Law Review. He started his career by clerking for U.S. District Judge Leonie Brinkema before entering politics. He even played an important role during Al Gore's presidential campaign, working as the Defense and Foreign Policy Director, where he advised on essential issues like counterterrorism during the contentious Florida recount. This made his stock rise in political circles. Later, he was to serve as a legislative assistant to Congressman Leon Panetta, further setting the stage for his future roles. Jeremy's significant career breakthrough came when he joined the Obama administration, serving as chief of staff to Leon Panetta during his tenure as CIA director from 2009 to 2011. This position was pivotal for Jeremy, placing him at the heart of the U.S. national security apparatus at a time when global politics were particularly on edge. In this position, he actively participated in major national security decisions, including the formulation of strategies related to counterterrorism and intelligence operations. Notably, he was part of the senior leadership team integrally involved in the high-risk mission to find and kill Osama bin Laden in May 2011, an event destined to be one of the signature achievements of the Obama presidency. His astute insights into leading that operation, if anything, underlined his capabilities and positioned him as a figure of respect in national security circles. Later, when Bash left the CIA, he continued working closely with Leon Panetta after he transitioned to Secretary of Defense. Jeremy Bash served from 2011 through 2013 as the Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense. He was responsible for the wide span and breadth of operations within the Pentagon. In this hyper-intense role, Bash oversaw an enormous office with a multi-billion-dollar budget of $4 billion with approximately 2,500 staff. This is to say, his role included responsibility for the formulation of defense budgets, the formulation of new defense strategies, and the management of military engagements at a time when the country was involved in various foreign engagements across the globe, including Afghanistan and Iraq. These are high-pressure environments characterized by rapid, last-second decisions or contingency and strategic planning. Thus, this ability to navigate them has earned him great respect in both political and military circles, and has established him as a key player in shaping defense policy. Following his retirement from government service in 2013, Bash applied decades of experience in the field of national security to co-found Beacon Global Strategies LLC, a consulting firm advising on a broad range of international policy issues, defense strategies, cybersecurity, and intelligence matters. He has taken on the role of managing director to develop a highly diversified client base from technology and finance for government agencies on how to prepare for changing, turbulent geopolitics. His insights and expertise have made him an in-demand advisor to national leaders and corporate executives on strategic decision-making from a global perspective. Bash's capacity to translate such complex security concerns into real, workable strategies has earned him a reputation as a trusted authority in his field. Besides his impactful work in consulting, Bash has established himself as a very respected national security analyst for NBC News and MSNBC, providing in-depth commentary on everything from cybersecurity and U.S. counterterrorism operations to international relationships with key global players such as China and Russia. He has been able to tell complex security problems in a way that almost everybody could grasp, which made him a regular contributor to current events discussions on national security, and his views an oft-sought accompaniment to major news stories. This presence in the media bridged the gap between the political discourse and public understanding concerning critical security issues, further amplifying his influence in the field. Jeremy Bash's numerous contributions to public service have garnered various accolades, highlighting his impact and dedication. In 2010, Time magazine listed him as one of the top 40 civic leaders under 40, citing his rising profile in national affairs. He has received numerous prestigious awards to date, including the Department of Defense Distinguished Public Service Medal and the CIA Director's Award for especially meritorious service to national security. These honors are indicative of his achievements and dedication to effective public service throughout his career. Bash has continued to shape national security policy through advisory positions and public commentary. He serves on several think tanks, serving on the boards for the Truman Center for National Policy and the International Spy Museum. In 2022, he was appointed to the Afghanistan War Commission studying U.S. military operations over 2 decades, thus enabling him to reflect on past conflicts as he helped shape future policies. His professional background brought a singular dynamic into his marriage to Dana Bash, who was rising meteorically through the ranks at CNN for political journalism. This relationship was built on a shared commitment to public service through mutual respect, but the demands of their jobs made it quite difficult to strike a balance between personal and professional life. Throughout their marriage, Dana was known for incisive political reporting on major events like presidential elections and national crises, while Jeremy was involved in critical national security decisions requiring long hours and intense focus. This overlap of high-pressure careers created both a bond and strain as they navigated their responsibilities, often struggling to synchronize schedules and support each other through their demanding careers. While their dedication to their fields brought them together, it also tested the resilience of their relationship. Tragically, Dana Bash and Jeremy Bash divorced in 2007 after nearly a decade of marriage, marking a significant transition in both their lives. While specific reasons for their separation remain private, it's common for relationships between individuals with demanding careers to face challenges as they prioritize their ambitions. This pivotal moment allowed both Dana and Jeremy to pursue their professional paths independently, reflecting on the shared experiences that shaped their time together. Post-divorce, Jeremy Bash married Robin Lee Cook in 2009 and welcomed 3 children. Meanwhile, Dana continued her ascent at CNN, solidifying her position as a leading voice in political journalism. The end of her marriage coincided with a period of growth, as she continued to cover major political events and became adept at navigating complex narratives. This experience ultimately shaped her perspective on relationships and influenced her subsequent marriage to fellow CNN correspondent John King. Dana Bash's relationship with John King. Dana and John King, both prominent figures at CNN, began dating in 2007, united by their commitment to journalism. As seasoned reporters, King serving as chief national correspondent and anchor of Inside Politics, and Bash as chief political correspondent, their mutual understanding of career demands deepened their bond. They married on May 25, 2008, in a picturesque ceremony in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, which reflected their shared values and professional aspirations. In June 2011, Bash and King welcomed their son, Jonah Frank King, adding joy to their lives and another layer to their relationship. However, despite this happiness, their marriage faced difficulties, leading to their divorce in 2012 after approximately 4 years together. Reports suggested that they had been living apart for several months before officially announcing their separation, indicating the decision was not made lightly. Despite their divorce, Dana and John remained on good terms, with both spouses publicly acknowledging the other's work in journalism and continuing to work under the same CNN network. Both parents have promised to co-parent Jonah on amiable grounds and prioritize his best interest amidst the challenges of balancing demanding careers and family life. After her marriage to John King, Bash's career continued to thrive, and in April 2023, she made her transition as anchor of Inside Politics, previously held by King. This move gained considerable media attention because they were once spouses. In response to an article that described her as King's ex-wife, Bash underscored her position as an experienced journalist and tweeted, "In this context, I am not an ex-wife. I am a veteran journalist with decades of experience who worked hard for this role." Turning the spotlight on John King, his early life laid the foundation for his future successes. Born on August 30, 1963 in Boston, Massachusetts, King was raised in an Irish Catholic family with ancestry reaching back to County Galway. His early childhood instilled in him a fascination with news stories and current events that developed as the core of his future in journalism. King attended one of the oldest public schools in the United States, Boston Latin School, which has a high level of academic achievement. He found himself in an environment that helped nurture his intellectual curiosity and prepared him for higher education, culminating in a bachelor's degree in journalism from the University of Rhode Island. His education thus equipped him with all the basic skills in reporting and writing so invaluable on the professional journey he was beginning. King started with the AP as a writer in 1985 and worked his way swiftly up the career ladder to become chief political correspondent by 1991. In this post, he took charge of coverage of the 1992 and 1996 presidential elections, reporting many significant exclusives, including the stories of Michael Dukakis's picking of Lloyd Bentsen as his running mate in 1988 and Bill Clinton's choice of Al Gore in 1992. His work in the First Gulf War earned him top honors from the Associated Press Managing Editors Association and set a reputation seal on King as a capable political journalist. With CNN, King joined in May 1997 to become one of the popular voices in political journalism. From 1999 until 2005, during the George W. Bush administration, he was CNN's senior White House correspondent during a period that saw many critical events, including the September 11th attacks and the Iraq War. His ability to guide viewers through complicated political stories earned him the role of chief national correspondent in April 2005, whereby he could lead CNN's coverage of political news across varied media. One of King's notable contributions to CNN is his pioneering use of the Magic Wall, an interactive touchscreen technology that enables him to visually present and analyze election data during live broadcasts. This innovation significantly enhanced viewer engagement, particularly during election nights, and was integral to CNN's Emmy-winning coverage of the 2008 presidential election. Throughout his time on CNN, King has covered 7 presidential elections and reported from all 50 states and more than 70 countries. He was part of CNN's America Votes 2008 coverage, where he broke the news about then-Senator Barack Obama naming Joe Biden his vice presidential running mate. He has so far moderated several presidential debates during the Republican and Democratic primaries to date. His work has garnered several accolades, which include an Emmy Award for his work covering the 2006 election coverage, a George Foster Peabody Award for his contributions to the 2008 election coverage, and an Associated Press Managing Editors Award for outstanding reporting during the First Persian Gulf War. This is further evidenced through hosting duties on CNN's Inside Politics and State of the Union programs. King premiered State of the Union in January 2009. He hosted it until early 2010, when he transitioned to John King, USA. He interviewed most of the famous personalities and covered almost all of the high-profile political events in these positions, demonstrating his capability to involve large audiences in telling stories. King reported in January 2021 as a lead correspondent in the fallout of riots at the Capitol, and contributed to CNN's coverage of the subsequent impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump. He continued to report on key political stories leading into the 2020 presidential election and beyond, with many of his reports continuing to show his dedication to timely analysis of important issues. By the start of 2023, King returned to concentrate on the voters of the swing states as the election started weighing in, refreshing his original focus on grassroots reporting and a connection with regular Americans. In the span of a career at CNN, he has done countless memorable interviews that certainly showcase his experience and comfort level with high-profile political figures. He has interviewed President Obama several times, including the eventful State of the Union interview, where he asked some of the most pressured questions from the public over the ailing economy and job creation. Their discussions often encompass critical issues such as healthcare reform and foreign policy, showcasing King's knack for engaging directly with topics affecting American citizens. In addition, King did an exclusive joint interview with President Clinton and Prime Minister Tony Blair in May of 1998 that provided unequaled insight into the U.S.-UK relationship during a time of international tension. He did the only one-on-one interview with Clinton on his historic 2000 trip to Vietnam, where they discussed what U.S. foreign policy means for Southeast Asia. King's interviews with Condoleezza Rice during her tenure under President George W. Bush frequently revolved around national security matters and the U.S. role in global affairs, offering viewers a glimpse into critical decision-making processes at the highest levels of government. Known for his probing questions, King engaged former Vice President Dick Cheney in discussions that delved into the rationale behind U.S. military actions during the Iraq War, seeking clarity on contentious issues like torture and preemptive strikes. Incisive questioning characterizes John King's interviews. Often, he embeds an issue in the broader context of a political narrative to help audiences understand the full implication of what is discussed. His ability to get real responses from political figures made King a leading voice in American political journalism, and the impact and power of his contributions to this field go on and on. With these interview skills, he has won numerous awards throughout his career, including a George Foster Peabody Award for his part in CNN's reporting of such seminal political events. Before marrying Dana Bash, King was first married in the early 1990s to Jean Mackey when he was building his name in journalism. The two children are Noah, the firstborn son, whose birth had been a milestone for the couple, and Hannah, their daughter, to add to that family unit. MGE. Each child has remained at the core of King's life and reflects his fulfillment of commitments to fatherhood amidst the demands that have come through in his career path. Even though the marriage between King and Mackey went to the extent of divorce, the reasons behind their separation have not been publicly highlighted. King has focused on co-parenting his children with Mackey to maintain their involvement in his life amid personal changes. His relationship with Mackey has been described as integral to his development since the experience of fatherhood and the trials of matrimony played a role in his thoughts on family and relationships in later years. A divorcee he is, but quite an attentive father, so they say. In October 2021, King announced publicly that he had been living for over 10 years with multiple sclerosis. King had his first symptoms of MS in the late 1990s, while reporting on the White House for CNN. He recalled a summer jog in 1998 where he thought little of leg paresthesia. These symptoms did not disappear, however, and over time started to increase in intensity until he decided to seek medical help. During his work as a reporter at the 2008 Republican National Convention in St. Paul, the numbness suddenly began to rise higher into his torso from his lower legs. A paramedic present in one of the medical tents suggested to him that it sounded like he was suffering from multiple sclerosis. In a short while, an MRI showed his diagnosis: relapsing, remitting MS. Eventually, over 10 years after the diagnosis, John King made sure to keep the condition all to himself until he revealed it in a segment live on CNN's Inside Politics back in October 2021. The disclosure of his health status was influenced by ongoing discussions about the pandemic and the importance of vaccinations for immunocompromised individuals to take necessary precautions against the virus. King described the experience of living with MS as really annoying but not aggressive, highlighting that while his daily struggles include things like extreme tiredness, numbness, and occasionally some brain fog, it has not been a severe impedance to his working or enjoying activities with his family. He was resilient and determined in the way he tried to balance professional responsibilities with his health challenges, calling out heat and stress as big symptom triggers. Despite setbacks MS may cause, King has remained an active worker in the world of journalism. He cited examples of how his symptoms at times affect him during moments crucial to covering elections. He has kept a positive mind, though, and said he is one of the lucky ones, citing effective medication and supportive health care. It also put King into the role of being an awareness rallier for the disease itself, highlighting that early diagnosis and treatment are really important. He has spoken about how many people have disabilities that most others cannot tell, and he did admit that he initially had some trepidation over revealing his condition, fearing it would alter the professional views his colleagues held of him. a view with which he recognized later he was wrong to hold. In interviews following his announcement, King reflected on how living with MS has changed him. He described it as a viciously cruel disease for many, but acknowledged the privilege of having a manageable form of it. Expressing gratitude for modern medical advancements and the support from healthcare professionals, King has become a voice for those navigating similar challenges. His journey with MS serves not only as a personal narrative, but also highlights broader issues related to health awareness, the stigma surrounding chronic illnesses, and the importance of community support. King's candidness has resonated with many viewers and advocates alike, fostering a greater understanding of what it means to live with multiple sclerosis and emphasizing the need for empathy and support for those affected by chronic health conditions. What are your thoughts on Dana Bash's personal life? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.